Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in today. You just saw some pictures from my sister's wedding where I was her photographer and I was also her makeup artist. I went to Maine for a couple weeks, which is why my channel has been very quiet. I originally planned on filming when I was there, but there's no reception, so it's pointless for me to film because I wouldn't been able to upload it when I was there. So I did my sister's bridal makeup, as I've just mentioned, and I wanted to create the look for you guys so you can see what I did, why I did what I did, and how it turned out. This is the final look, give or take. I tried to remember as best as could as what I could do. Now, a few things to keep in mind when I was doing her makeup is, one, I did not have a lot of time. I had maybe 30 minutes to do her makeup, and I just wanted to make sure her makeup looked beautiful and flawless, but with it being a at-home wedding, it was just a lot of people coming and going, a lot of things on the plate that normally isn't if it was at like a hall or a reception, that type of thing. So I just didn't have a lot of time, even though I tried to pull her and sit her down for a long time. I ended up only having 30 minutes. I really wanted to focus on complexion, making sure she looked youthful and glowy and just like a bridal luminous type of look. And I did not really focus too much on the eyes just because, one, she wears glasses, so you're not going to really see it, but also I just didn't have enough time and I didn't want to do like a sloppy job and do like a half done look. Now, when I'm doing the video portion, there is one change that I did, is that I don't have the foundation that I was using on her. I was using the Giorgio Armani Power Fabric Foundation, and that's just something I don't normally have on hand. I just had a couple samples that I had from work, so I ended up using the Pat McGrath, the new foundation from her, today on myself because it's the closest that I had for the finish and the effect that I was able to get with the Power Fabric. So that's the only change that I did makeup wise for this video. Now in this video I will be doing a voiceover so you guys can see what I'm doing and why I did what I did. I think that is very helpful because bridal makeup is completely different, especially since, one, it was stupid humid. I'm normally living in a very dry climate and it was actually raining up until the minute that she got married. So I really needed to work on longevity, making sure it looked beautiful in pictures, so no flashback. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's very different for my channel. Please note that I'm not a professional makeup artist. This is just me doing makeup on my sister, so I didn't have to worry too much about making sure everything's sanitized and that type of thing. So I hope you enjoy this video. I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's just get started. Starting off with her moisturizer, I wanted to make sure she had a nice light base. She does have combo skin, and the Tatcha Water Cream is a great option for underneath makeup. I just wanted her to have a nice light base before applying more mattifying products on top. For her primer, I wanted to make sure I had something that was really great for humidity, which is why I used the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. It is great for longevity, and since it was a super rainy, humid day, it was perfect to make sure that her makeup was going to last, and it's great for minimizing pores and wrinkles. And then the Milani Eyeshadow Primer for the eyes. It's just great for neutralizing discoloration and helps with longevity. The first palette that I dipped into is the Soft and Sultry from Milani. I mixed Bare It All Ant and the Buff together to create the base for the eyes. And then I used the second row, kind of mixing them all together, mostly Soft Touch and Tantalizing as my crease / transition shade, just blending that all in the crease. Moving on to the Viseart Liason palette, I first started with Dangerous, which is the top left, and I used that in the crease as well, kind of slightly lower than the original transition shades. And then I used Rendezvous with a teeny tiny Sephora brush just to create a little bit more dimension in that outer V. And I also just wanted to make sure her eyes will still pop through her glasses. Moving on to the Tryst palette from Viseart, I ended up using that middle shade Tingle with my finger, I believe. I'm not sure if I used a brush with her, but it's a great just peachy color since her wedding colors were pink and peach and her dress was actually a little bit more on the peach side, so that's why I used that color. And then I used blushing right in the center of her lid to help her eyes pop a little bit more. Just cleaning up the under eye and then moving on to concealer, I went in with the Makeup Forever HD concealer. It's a nice lightweight, decently good coverage concealer, and then I used the Flower Beauty sponge to blend that in. I did that before foundation just to make sure it's a little bit more seamless. I wanted her to look a little bit more natural since she normally doesn't wear makeup, which is also why I used the Milk bronzing stick underneath her foundation as well, just to add a little bit more dimension. It looks a lot more orange here on film, but in person it's a lot more of a contoury shade. Moving on to foundation, again, I used the Power Fabric for her from Giorgio Armani. In this, I'm using the Pat McGrath foundation. For her, I had two different shades which kind of mixed together, which was 3.5 and 5.5. So I'm thinking her color's around the 4 range. And then I used this Tarte foundation brush, which was fantastic. It's so quick and easy and doesn't leave any type of streaks. This is my favorite brush currently. For setting powder, I use the Hourglass Veil because it is talc free, which is great for pictures, so you don't get any type of flashback. It also helps with smoothing out everything, making everything look a lot more seamless, adds a little bit of light to the face, and doesn't make you completely matte. For blush, I used the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in Mood Exposure. Really helped her cheeks pop, and it also has a little bit of a glowy aspect. Since we do have quite a matte base, I wanted to add a little bit more life back into her skin. And then don't worry, I do figure out that I have powder on my face in a minute. For bronzer, they no longer make this, but this is the Bare Minerals Invisible Bronzer. I just did a tiny bit, just add a little bit more glow to her face, and a little bit more dimension. For her highlight, I ended up going into the Trio from Hourglass. I swear this is not sponsored. I kind of just mixed them all together, just add a little bit of light all throughout her whole entire face as a finishing powder. It also helps with setting your face as well, so I just wanted to make sure her makeup lasted, but also to give her that bridal glow. I ended up also using a smaller brush more towards the middle of the palette and focus that more on her apples of the cheeks and the nose. Now, as you can see, I first started off matte with the foundation and the primer, and then I went in with the glowy products, which I think was perfect because it really lasted really well throughout the humid night. I then finished up the lower eyes with the 2 colors I used previously. She had a hard time with me doing this since she normally doesn't wear makeup, so it tickled her quite a bit. So I didn't do too much for the under eye, just to kind of blend it all together, make it a little bit more seamless. I used both those colors again. And then I don't show this, but I actually did use mascara. I ended up going in with the Lancome Monsieur Big for her mascara for that day. Just a really good volumizing one, which worked perfectly. For the brow bone and inner corner highlight, I used the Milani Soft and Sultry again in the shade Diamond Pearls. I'm just using an e.l.f. pencil brush for the brow area, and I'm pretty sure I used just my finger for the inner corner highlight. Moving on to brows, she wanted me to fill them in because she did not have time to groom them before the wedding. So this is the Beau brow from Sephora collection. It's like a pomade gel type thing in one, which helped a lot to make her brows super fast and easy. And then to add a little bit more dimension to fix her tail, I went in with the Urban Decay brow blade, which was perfect to add a little bit more of a natural brow hair type effect. Then finally for lips, I went in with the Charlotte Tilbury lip liner in Superize Me, which was a nice rosy color. It looks a lot more red in the video, but it's a little bit more on the rose tone. Since she was going to do a lot of kissing and then taking pictures directly after, I wanted to make sure she had something that was long wearing and not transferring onto him for pictures. So that's why I went in with the lip liner. I believe later in the day she ended up going with the lip gloss because she's a lip gloss person, but at least we got the pictures out of the way. And then for the lipstick, I used my Pillowtalk from Charlotte Tilbury just to add a little bit more life back into the lips because that liner can be a bit drying. So I used the lipstick on top. And that is the finished look. So that is it for this video. I hope you found it helpful, enjoyable. I hope it gave you a little insight of why I did what I did. Thank you so much for coming by today. If you like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. If you want me to do more tutorials in the future, I definitely will. That's it for today, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.